This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom, welcome in to the program. Traylon Burks, we'll start there. What were your thoughts on when you initially saw the news of him going down yesterday in the Titans camp?
Well, whenever you see a guy reacting like that, you're concerned because it could be any manner of things. And we weren't there when Pooh Paul did whatever he did to his knee, but I bet there's great moments of concern when that happened on that day of practice. But they say it's a MCL slight deal, and he'll be back soon. And gotta hope so because they really need Pooh Paul. But yeah, I just want Traylon Burks to have a good, healthy season and really establish himself among the top tier of receivers in the league, and hopefully he can be back by the opener or soon thereafter.
Do you have any thoughts on that Missouri NIL change? We were discussing it in our Morning Rush Daily Question. Have you gotten a chance to kind of look over that and see the differences between, say, here and Missouri and other states that Arkansas competes against?
No, you know what? I saw that it was enacted, and Dave Matter really does a good job covering Missouri stuff. And I just saw that they had posted that they signed this new deal into law, and I really have not dove into what the particulars of that are.
Yeah. Tom, rare chance to talk to Dan Enos. His camp's underway. He's going to be with the media later today after practice. What are some of the questions you've got for Coach Enos as he'll talk about his quarterbacks and his offense in general?
Always good to talk to Dan Enos. It means that we've cycled through basically the position groups, and now I think we also get KJ again today. Probably be his third time in camp, so that's good that he gets out in front of us a lot. What's going on with the offense? Are you done with the install? They're supposed to be relatively done with putting in what they're going to run. What about the timing? Because we saw a couple of days ago when fastball starts where the defense was just all over them. They had a better day yesterday, but competing against this defensive front, what do you see out of that group too? Who's rising up at receiver? What about the offensive tackles? There's a lot of questions for Dan Enos for sure.
Tom Murphy with us on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. Saturday we'll need the next big scrimmage. When you think about what unfolds Saturday, how far will that go in your mind? And when we get that initial depth chart and the game notes for game one, how big is Saturday in formulating kind of the final plans for the twos and the threes? And I don't know how many cases the ones are still up in the air, but even some starting spots.
Exactly, and not so much for what I think about it, but where are the coaches with this? And I really think that I'm not sure if Devin Manuel will be back, but if he misses this scrimmage, then Andrew Chamblee certainly would have gotten a lot of reps with the ones. And on the spur of the moment, Sam Pittman said he thought Chamblee played pretty well in last week's scrimmage. So what does that mean? Does that mean because of all that pressure that KJ and the other quarterbacks were under, does that mean the tight ends weren't holding up their side of the deal on blocking? Was it the other side of the ball? Because, apparently Kudus had a pretty good day as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of determinations that will be made from this scrimmage. I hope that guys like Rocket Sanders and, you can name a handful of others, don't get a whole ton of action, guys that you don't want to lose. If Chris Paul is ready to play by Saturday, do you hold him out anyway and not risk any further deal with that knee? So it's going to be a big one. Depth in the secondary is really, I think, still up for grabs. The cornerback situation, making sure they're okay with Singletary being up with the ones with Dwight McLaughlin, and Jalen Lewis has played really well this week. Talked to Marcus Woodson about that yesterday in the nickel/hog position. And so with Snatch Johnson and Jalen Lewis, do you have a good 1-2 there that you can depend on? So O-line, I think probably I would say O-line and what the tackles do in this one would be one of my biggest primary areas, I'd want to see ironed out.
You mentioned the secondary as we're talking with Tom Murphy on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. What have you thought about the impact Woodson has made to this point, or are you just waiting to hold statements until we actually see a game?
I'll make a strong statement. I think he presents as a sharp coach with, he knows what he wants to do. I was really impressed with Marcus Woodson yesterday in terms of how you make a room perform better. You get them all on the same page. You get them pulling all in the right direction. Jaden Johnson was up there yesterday talking very well of Al Walcott. Well, they're basically competing for the same job. And so it was good to hear. We know that there was a little bit of, I don't know what was going on in the secondary last year, but it wasn't all super cohesive, and they just kept moving people all year trying to find the right combinations. And I think Marcus Woodson has done a good job of establishing the brotherhood and all that. And, really there's nowhere else to go but up for the passing defense right after you rank last in the country.
Jalen Braxton is a name that Arkansas fans are starting to hear a little bit more. He was actually the highest rated recruit that you got in the class of 2023. Tom, do you think he plays this fall, not just in non-conference games, but SEC games too?
Based on what we've seen in camp, I think he does. And there's a chance he's your third cornerback. With Singletary up with the ones, and them trusting the fact that Snatch Johnson will stick at nickel, I think, Ladarius Bishop and Jalen Braxton are among the guys who are your next up in the cornerback rotation. And I like what I've seen out of him. And it depends on which rankings you look at because, I did see that Braxton was number one in some of them. I think Luke was also number one in some of them too. And we know we're going to see a lot of Luke Has this year.
Tom Murphy with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. As we move closer here, they'll start Western Carolina, I guess, prep and sometime middle of next week. I think is kind of what Sam said about this. He'll talk with the media after Saturday's scrimmage. How much more do we really start thinking about the end of camp and the beginning of game week preparations?
Well, we in the media can speculate for any area that we want to. When do they start putting that in? But for them, you've got to follow the day-to-day. What your schedule says. All right, are they done with install? All right, what's next? Refining things that you felt like you really liked that your players can do. So they'll be doing a lot of that with the position, depth, and refining, their best strengths and who does what on the field the best. Then before they put in the Western Carolina plan. And, of course, the way the modern college game is, they've got analysts working on probably the first three games, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was already an LSU game plan, game 4, that they're already, putting plans together for, and then you just start implementing that on the weekly. But you don't overlook anybody. You put your best plans forth for the Western Carolina game, and obviously you hold back certain schemes and all that you want to reveal as you get deeper into the schedule. But, it's all good calculations by this coaching staff on the way they schedule out the camp.
Tom, we'll leave it there, man. We appreciate your time this morning. We'll talk next Tuesday after another scrimmage.
Outstanding. See you.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.